So, one of the biggest things I always try to tell people is that, there's a definite difference between Memorial Day and Veterans Day. Memorial Day is to honor and memorialize the fallen. So, for me as a veteran or currently serving military member, Memorial Day is not for me. That's my time to remember and honor people that I know that have, lost their life in battle, or have passed on, but it's not for the currently serving, servicemen or veterans, so to speak.
What's Veterans Day to you? For the small fleet owner and active duty service member whose voice you heard there, Rob Ahlers, it's opportunity to continue to provide gainful employment to a bevy of military vets hauling for his MSR Transport Services company. Since it got its start in expediting back in 2014, when I wrote about Ahlers' plan to focus heavily on transitioning fellow veterans into civilian trucking opportunities, the fleet's now managing upward of 30 trucks, mostly teams hauling for various expediters, FedEx Custom Critical, Panther, and others. We'll hear much more about Ahlers and company's bedrock business here, but also his reflections on the bedrock importance of Veterans Day, and how it sometimes takes a back seat in terms of public recognition to Memorial Day. I'm Todd Dills, your host for this November 11th, 2021 special edition of the Overdrive Radio podcast, and arguably, I'd say it's sure, the veteran support mission that today brings with it is fundamental to the nation's cohesiveness in a way Memorial Day perhaps just isn't. Ahlers, to an extent, echoes that thought.
And, being on November 11th, and, the kind of tie back to what November 11th was, Armistice Day, and, the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month of 1918, there's just that kind of that history to it. And I really like Veterans Day. There's a lot of great events. I've been a part of them for quite a while, even, in ROTC at Akron University or the University of Akron growing up. We would put a 24-hour watch out on the flag. We'd hold a big breakfast. We'd bring in veterans, the American Legion and the VFW types, the ones that are just passing away at alarming rates right now, the World War II veterans, that greatest generation, and try to just get knowledge from them and try to just, talk with them, because when they're gone, they're gone. And if their stories haven't been captured, you're not going to get it. So I always enjoyed sitting around and talking with, I kind of say the older veterans on Veterans Day. And, here in a few years, I might find myself, being that older veteran on Veterans Day, sitting down talking to a young kid. And I don't think I would mind one bit, honestly.
For Ahlers now, it's mission accomplished in terms of working veteran support, as you'll hear on the podcast today.
Rob Ahlers, President and CEO of MSR Transport Services. Currently, we are in our 7th year of operation. I'm actually a reservist that's on active duty orders right now. So I'm kind of dual-hatted, dual-rolled while working at the Pentagon with the Chief of Logistics for the Army, and then have the business. So my one business partner, Sean Miner, is actually running the business full-time day-to-day as our COO.
Okay.
So we do have him brought on full-time as an employee. Currently, we have 35 tractor trailers in the fleet. So we actually own 25 of those. Actually, we own 20 right now, and another 15 are trucks that we manage for other individuals. And I've got another 4 coming in that I'm expecting to be delivered here by the end of the year.
Those are owner-operators?
I do. I've got some single truck owner-operators, and then there are some small fleets. So I've had a couple guys that started out as drivers, then bought their own truck as an owner-operator, and then have grown up to 3, 4, and 5 trucks.
Right.
Kind of started their small fleet with us. So
before we dive deeper into the profile of his leased fleet and veterans and others' opportunities therein, so much more, here's a brief message from Overdrive Radio's sponsor.
First Guard provides commercial truck insurance to leased owner-operators done right, as we've done for more than 80 years. We provide physical damage and non-trucking. Many companies make you pay up to 6 months of insurance premiums up front, but not First Guard. We bill monthly, so you get quality insurance without needing to pay a lot of cash up front. Go to firstguard.com. That's 1stguard.com. First Guard. We speak trucker. Let's talk.
And here's Rob Ahlers, speaking to the support MSR gives to small fleet owners and owner-operators running under his fleet.
We just like to give them back office support. We provide training. All the material that I produce for our drivers, they have access to. So that includes all of the contracts, all of the training material as far as where to purchase supplies and where to get maintenance performed, because those states are tax-free. That, no sales tax, that kind of stuff.
Right.
Then they also have access to our recruiting and mentorship of our teams to their own teams. So. And I don't charge them to be a part of our fleet. So really there's no loss for them. They're not losing any money at all by being a part of our fleet. So
right. You guys are essentially their principal customer, is the idea, right? Like,
yep, absolutely. And then we turn right around. I mean, so I'm leased on with 5 different carriers. We still don't have our own authority. So we just lease our trucks and our teams right to other carriers. And these owner operators and small fleet owners know they could do that as well, go direct to the carrier. But if I'm offering them 100% of the truck's gross revenue, just the same as if they were signed on directly, but they're getting my fleet size discount, access to my capital, and all the other things, why wouldn't they go ahead and sign up and lease through us instead of going directly to the carrier?
That's some kind of a deal. What do you guys get out of that relationship in the end?
Yeah, so what we get is in the eyes of our carriers, we're essentially larger because they see all those trucks and drivers as MSR, regardless of who's paying the note or who's paying the drivers. So for us, it helps the carrier because we have kind of consolidated. So for instance, one of our carriers, instead of them dealing with 19 different owner operators with 19 different issues on trailers and whatnot, they have to deal with us. And then we get to promulgate it out. In turn, the carrier pays us based on our fleet size. They give us an incentive on the back end every month. Okay. So, a single truck owner operator, even a owner with 4 or 5 trucks wouldn't get this fleet incentive if they were signed on to the carrier until they get 6 trucks. So that's why I tell them, I'm going to make money on the back end because the carrier is going to pay me to have you a part of our fleet.
Yep.
So that's exactly how we've been doing it, and helping these other small fleets grow and kind of learn the business. So,
are you still all in kind of that expedited sort of freight world? Like, I know you early on when I talked to you and you were just getting started, I think you had you're planning to lease a couple trucks to Panther and a couple of Custom Critical.
Correct. Yep. So we're with FedEx Custom Critical. That's our largest fleet. I think we've got 19 trucks signed on with them.
Okay.
I do have tractors at Panther. I have tractors at Blue Bolt Logistics, B2A Logistics, and then Baggett Transportation. And I'm able to offer a slightly different flavor for each carrier. So at FedEx, we kind of do the temperature controlled in DoD. At Panther, we do more of the dry van in DoD. At Baggett, it's flatbed in DoD. And then Blue Bolt and B2A are more of the truckload operation, drop and hook. So a team that really wants to do 6,000 miles a week, I'll send them there. A team that's burned out doing that and they want to run 3,000 miles a week, we'll go to Expedite. So I can kind of offer teams what they would like. The only thing we don't really have in our portfolio right now is over-dimensional and tanker. Right. But that's not to say it's not going to come down the road.
I mean, having that diverse mix too probably shields you from the strange things that happen in the in the markets in the kind of world we're living in today.
Yeah, no, absolutely. When everyone started shutting down, some of our dry van freight kind of dried up, but they were able to pivot. Our DoD freight has stayed pretty steady. Yeah. The pharmaceutical side obviously had took off during the COVID stuff. That very first shipment coming out of Kalamazoo, Michigan was on a Custom Critical truck.
Ahlers here is talking about the COVID-19 vaccines beginning rollout late last year, of course.
So yeah, it has helped being in different markets and sectors. DoD slows down around the end of September, beginning of October, when the fiscal year for the government changes over. But that's usually when the holiday shipping and everything else starts to pick up. So the dry van freight picks up. So the ebb and flow is really nice because it kind of flatlines our revenue for the year. Yeah. So
you guys have come a long way from that last time we talked back in 2014 or 15, somewhere in there.
Yes, sir.
Give me the story of this. One of the reasons you reached out was this special Western Star that you guys were the recipient of. how did you come to be the recipient of that truck? And is this just one that you ordered and had designed that way, or was it done that way for you? What's the story there?
Yeah, sure. So some years ago, the Cleveland truck plant for Daimler started producing a Ride of Pride truck every year around Memorial Day. And, Schneider, Cargo Transporters, Gully, they've all been recipients of the truck. And it's a truck that the company pays for, and then Daimler wraps and adds extra stuff to the truck. And they've got a Facebook page and a website, and you can go back and see all the trucks from when they first started to where they've come now. And I mean, just the graphics and everything have just come, so far. And I'd always kind of envied all those companies. Schneider's got like 7 of them, and
right.
They look great. There's a lot of publicity around them, and I'm like, I'm a little guy. And then this year they were looking for, I guess how the process works is that they actually go out to dealerships and kind of ask dealerships for recommendations on businesses that are veteran owned or veteran focused. And one of the dealerships that I had dealt with in the past put us forward, and then we ended up being selected, and I did not have any trucks on order. So they asked, they're like, hey, you've been selected. Would you like to be the recipient? I was like, well, sure. I don't know. They're like, all right, well, here's a VIN that we've got coming down the line that we can turn into this Ride of Honor truck.
Right.
Do you like it? I was like, yeah, it's great. We'll take it. And we put it right into use with Baggett Transportation, who, is nothing but DOD work.
Yep.
So this is really the first Ride of Honor truck that the plant has produced that every day it is going on and off military bases. So it's getting a lot of publicity around the military community. And my team driving it is Doug and Robin Hyde. And Doug's a retired E8 from active duty, and Robin is an E7 in the reserve still. So they're still very much involved in the military, and they've done reads across America for me for the last 3 years. So this will be the first year doing it in that truck.
Right. How long have they been with you?
So they have been with us for about 4 years now. And I started talking with them back before they'd even had their CDL. They went and got through. They got their CDL through Roadmaster, and then they went to Covenant and drove as a team for a year. I kept in touch with them for that whole year, and then they came on with us. They already had security clearances being in the military, so they were able to go straight into DoD work. And they've been kind of our flagship team and unit out there with Baggett. They've been with Baggett for over 3 years now. And just recently, we've grown our fleet at Baggett quite a bit, so they're our senior team there now.
Yeah, Baggett's based in Alabama, right?
They are Birmingham, Alabama. I think they're 90 or 95 years old. They've been around for quite a while.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, last time we were talking about that the skills test waiver for veterans who have driving experience in the military,
mm-hmm.
and I know when you started out, you were putting that to good effect in terms of just being able to bring in and give work to folks coming back from military service. Is that still the case? Are you still being able to take advantage of that to effect?
Yeah, no, absolutely, we are, and we've used that waiver quite a few times to get drivers in. So. Almost all of our carriers are able to work with their insurance company to accept that as drive time, and really that's the biggest hangup is getting the insurance company to see that and be like, all right, this does equate to commercial drive time, and the fact that there's an articulated tractor trailer, same type of setup. So once the insurance company buys off on that, we're able to get the drivers qualified that way. I've actually got 2 drivers right now that are getting ready to get out of the military altogether. They're in Germany, and when they get sent back to the States and final out process, they'll be joining us because they've already got clearances. So they'll be using that waiver program here within the next month. So,
about the Ride of Pride Western Star, Ahlers confirmed it is a 2022 model year 5700 XE, perhaps one of the final such models Daimler will build, given news just yesterday that emerged. Western Star is discontinuing the 5700 XE amid reorganization at Daimler that will make Western Star the truck maker's flagship vocational truck brand going forward.
That is a 2022 model year 5700 XE. Yep, it's got the 82-inch on it. And it's one of many Western Stars. So we're an all Daimler fleet as far as the trucks that MSR owns themselves.
Right.
for ourselves. So we're an all Daimler fleet between Cascadias and Western Stars. Most of my Western Stars have a custom bunk, to where we still stick with the 82-inch factory sleeper, but I order it from Western Star with nothing in it.
Okay.
And we send it to a custom bunk manufacturer. We use 3 different ones depending on their availability, and they outfit the truck inside with a large 7.3 cubic foot fridge freezer, cabinets all around in a U shape, dinettes, a convection oven, a sink with hot water. So, from the outside, it looks just like a standard factory sleeper. But inside, we've spent the time and money to upgrade it for our teams, especially
That's
those that are
cool.
out there doing DoD, because they get some places and they have to babysit some freight in some austere environments.
Indeed.
So, yeah,
Indeed. That's great, man.
yeah.
Who do you use for the bunks?
So we use a Premier Custom Sleeper in Texas, Double A Sleeper down in Texas, which is part of Bolt, and then
Okay.
we've done a conversion with ARI as well in Indiana.
So, in terms of Veterans Day itself, I often feel like of the sort of military related holidays, it kind of gets the short end of the stick from the American public, right?
Yep.
I think people really just sort of like, everybody knows what Memorial Day is, and everybody takes the day off, and they have their parties, and they do whatever they do, and they know what it's for. That it's to sort of in sort of recognition of the of those who have paid the ultimate price, right? But I think the purpose of Veterans Day gets sort of lost, in everything, and is sort of confused as just another Memorial Day type event. But I don't feel like that's what it's for. And I wondered if you might tell me, kind of what you think Veterans Day means, and what it means to you, and its importance.
Yeah, no,
Its
absolutely.
importance.
Absolutely.
Right.
So, one of the biggest things I always try to tell people is that, there's a definite difference between Memorial Day and Veterans Day. Memorial Day is to honor and memorialize the fallen. So, for me as a veteran or currently serving military member, like, Memorial Day is not for me. That's my time to remember and honor people that I know that have, lost their life in battle, or have passed on, but it's not for the currently serving, servicemen or veterans, so to speak.
Yeah.
That is really what Veterans Day is for. And, I think you hit the nail on the head with Memorial Day being different. Memorial Day is always, it's a Monday holiday. It extends the weekend.
Yeah.
Whereas Veterans Day doesn't. Veterans Day is always November 11th, whether November 11th is a Saturday or a Sunday or a Wednesday, or this year it's a Thursday.
Yep.
So even even for us in the military this year, we have the 11th off, but we're back to work on the 12th. So it's not an extended weekend for us, and we don't treat it that way. So, so for Veterans Day, and being on November 11th, and the kind of tie back to what November 11th was, Armistice Day, and the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month of 1918. There's just that kind of that history to it, and I really like Veterans Day. There's a lot of great events. I've been a part of them for quite a while, even in ROTC at Akron University, or the University of Akron growing up. We would put a 24-hour watch out on the flag. We'd hold a big breakfast. We'd bring in veterans, the American Legion and the VFW types, the ones that are just passing away at alarming rates right now, the World War II veterans, that greatest generation, and try to just get knowledge from them, and try to just talk with them, because when they're gone, and if their stories haven't been captured, you're not going to get it. So I always enjoyed sitting around and talking with, I kind of say the older veterans on Veterans Day. And here in a few years, I might find myself, being that older veteran on Veterans Day, sitting down talking to a young kid, and I don't think I would mind one bit, honestly. I have been overseas for Veterans Day. I've been, I've been over in the Netherlands and France for Armistice Day over there, and just totally different. I mean, the Canadians, they take plane loads of kids pre-COVID, over to Vimy, France, and to the beaches over there, and that's part of their school trips. And here we struggle to get schools to send kids to Washington D.C., let alone over to a.
That's what I was also thinking about, is like Veterans Day is almost always it's a work day for 5 times out of 7, right?
Yep.
It's a work day for all of us, and very few people get it off, I think. But at the same time, like I kind of feel like that's appropriate, given that it is intended to recognize people that are still with us, and so much of what what we owe to folks who have served is support, and the kinds of things that you're doing, hiring people, providing work, meaningful work for returning vets to do, to be able to take advantage of the opportunities to do.
Yeah,
and
I would agree. I mean, you don't hear, and nothing against the the businesses that do it, but you don't hear a bunch of huge liquidation sales and Veterans Day furniture sales and everything Memorial Day, everything. So you're right. It does sort of have like a little bit of reverence to it, because it is kind of a holiday that's just in the background and doesn't affect everyone. So
given the veteran support aspects of it too, I wonder, maybe the life and work goes on aspects of the day for many Americans is appropriate of a fashion. Kind of recognition of the need to keep meaningful opportunities for returning service members open for business, as it were. The nation sort of keeping it all humming to continue to provide something cohesive for military members to return to when the duty is done. In any case, take out time today to hear a veteran's story if an opportunity presents itself. For you business owners in need of good people to join the team, furthermore, read former owner-op and Overdrive contributor W. Joel Baker's recollection published today via the Overdrive Extra blog. Military service, Baker believes, is a fine prerequisite for trucking work of various kinds, as Ahlers' experience with MSR Transport also shows pretty clearly, I'd wager. Find Baker's piece at overdriveonline.com/overdrive-extra.
So the three of us that started the business, we're all still together. We all served together, Mike, Sean, and myself. Sean is still in the military. He's in the National Guard, and he has done 2 deployments since we started.
Okay.
So his absence, Mike and I had to kind of pick up and fill in for him. And then, he's obviously filling in pretty big right now. I've been on active duty for a little over 2 years and have about a year left before I get to revert back to just being a reservist, a traditional reservist again, so to speak. So yeah, I mean, huge kudos and props to Sean for running, a business with 35, we'll end the year with 40 tractor trailers. It's pretty much a one-man show.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, exactly, right? Most fleet managers operate within a 10 to 12 trucks per person ratio. And,
yep,
we're running 40 to 1, and I fill in nights and weekends when I can, or, if it's a weekend that he has guard duty, I'm juggling that with, I've got 4 kids at home. My oldest just turned 5. So, I mean, talk about competing priorities and everything.
Yeah, big time.
There's, urgent care visits and everything else. And so
you do have the obviously the resources of the carriers you're leased to helping you out too. So that probably makes things a little more manageable.
It does. Yeah. Because, the carriers are responsible for, the IFTA and some of the safety compliance and stuff like that. So that does take a lot off of our plate compared to being, somebody out there with our own DOT authority. And a lot of our teams, I mean, they're very, very self-motivated, self-starting type teams. We're hands-off. Yep. And that's what we tell people when we recruit for, is that we can be as hands-on or off as you want to be. I have no issue giving the keys to a team and maybe not hearing from them for 2 or 3 months.
Right.
Because they're good and they're running the truck and we don't have any issues and they don't need us, and they know what parameters we allow them to operate in, and they know where we want them to go for service. And we've got a great maintenance schedule. We're very proactive on our maintenance. Again, another thing coming from the military. So, maintenance and schedules and services, hey, here's our maintenance schedule for this VIN that you're driving. And it's different than all the other VINs because this one's, got its own characteristics to it. And, follow this maintenance schedule, and we're good. So it's really a combination of Sean's ability plus our teams. And I think right now 32% of our drivers are veterans, so it's not like we're a veteran only company, but there's a definite difference in the caliber of team we hire. We've only got 3 solo drivers right now, and 2 of the 3 are veterans as well. Most of my teams are actually husband-wife teams, so usually the husband's the veteran. There's a couple teams where the wife's a veteran. With Doug and Robin, both are veterans. So, so 32% veterans and 35% of our drivers are female. And, I was just reading a statistic this morning. I think it's like 10.62% of the trucking industry is veterans right now. So we're well above that industry average on both the veteran and the female numbers.
Yeah, definitely. Anywhere, in terms of that Western Star, are you taking it to any public events where people might actually have an opportunity to see it, that kind of thing?
So I'm hoping to get it out to more public events once they start happening, either truck shows or even some car shows. This year it will be doing Rees across America. I'm not exactly certain which cemetery this particular truck will be going to. I'm guessing it's probably going to be back down to Florida, because I think the team was requested by name to go there again, the Hides.
Okay.
But we will be chronicling the truck on our Facebook page, so people can see that truck's journeys as it goes across and does Rees across America this year. I think we've got 7 trucks participating, hauling wreaths out of Maine. And then what we were hoping to do is get our website. We just built a new website, and I'm hoping to add a page here soon, right when I have time, that's dedicated to this truck and kind of gives the backstory of the truck, of the driver team. And then if there are any public events, be able to put them out there. We do have to be a little cognizant of the truck due to what it hauls. Can't quite broadcast stuff real time. And, sometimes we just don't know where the truck's going to end up due to the military freight. But
Sure.
But yeah. So it's definitely visible out on the roads, and the driver team, they love talking with people about it. They've said every fuel stop now takes about a half hour to an hour longer, just because of all the people coming up and talking to them. But they don't mind. So they're great ambassadors for veterans, for MSR, and for Daimler and Western Star trucks. So
that's Doug and Robin Hyde out of the great state of Oklahoma. If you see them out on the road today in that Western Star, tip your hat to them. You can find MSR Transport Services at msrtransport.com and drivemsr.com. Here's a big thanks to Rob Ahlers for his time. Overdrive Radio is a production of Overdrive, the voice of the American trucker. It's edited and produced by me, Todd Dills, with additional support from Overdrive Extra contributing writer Paul Marhofer, Overdrive News editor Matt Cole, social media coordinator Holly Young, and executive editor Alex Blocky. Till next time, keep it pro out there.